I'm recording. So here we go. In the wall, they clarified it in the comments, Katie. It is the week of May 4th through 11th. So by the 11th at midnight, rank needs to be up. So see, it's confusing. You know, Erica so it's confusing. All right. So anyways, and I know that who else did too brought it up in one of the groups too. There was somebody else that Andrea Crowder just brought it up too. So anyways, guys, it's the 3rd of May and we have our rising stars. I feel like I'm all out of whack since coming back from our trip. But with that being said, I'm actually really excited because there is so many new things coming down the pike with Beachbody that there's just like, I feel like we all of a sudden have these like limitless opportunities. So just to give you guys a couple of heads up. Number one, they're going to announce where we're going international on the 20th. So we will find out, yes. So we will find out on the 20th where, because we talked about that in CAB. And then what will happen from that point is that they will give us a couple of months. So we won't physically go open in another country until like the fall. So like September, October is kind of the months that they were throwing out when we were talking about on the CAB call. So that what happens is that gives you a couple of months to build relationships, to find people, to search for people, to sponsor ads, to do all of that kind of stuff, you know, to kind of make that happen. So keep that in mind, that's kind of coming down the pike and you can kind of work on that. So that's number one. Number two is there is a new Shanti workout that's going to be announced in the next 2 weeks. It's going to come out. Why does the 17th ring a bell? I don't know if that's the exact date, but I know it's around there that they're going to announce the new Shanti program, which will actually launch before Shift Shop. So it's going to come out in the spring. And then we have the Shift Shop workout that will launch at Summit. So just a few things, like just a couple of tips for you guys, things that I am doing. Of course, I try not to oversell something that I can't physically get a commission for at the moment. Like I can't physically sign up international people. I can't physically sign up Shift Shop people. But what I can do is I can educate people about it because people are talking about it. So I wrote a blog post about it, and I put that on my blog. I put that in my monthly newsletter, and I created a form, whether you use Wufoo or whatever form builder, Google that you use. I took that and I embedded that into the blog post, and then I put that on my like page, and I put it on my personal page so that at least the information is out there. You could also create a Facebook group for anybody that is interested in that workout, where as people say they're interested, you can add them into a group. That becomes your hub of where you can connect with people, getting their email addresses, making sure that they're signed up as your customer. And then as you find out information about the new product and when it's going to launch and the meal plan and what it's all about, then you can share that into that group. So it just becomes a place where you can gather information. So just a few tips for you on that when it comes to a launch. Those are some of the things that have worked really well. If you don't have a website or blog, you can create a Facebook event where it's just your Shift Shop event where you are, giving people information, and when they say interested or going, then you're adding them to your list, getting their email addresses and whatnot. So you can kind of work it any way you want depending on, what you use for social media and what works for you. So that's really important. And then Julia, thank you. So Shanti is the 12th is when that's going to come out. And the UV2, that comes out, I don't even know when. At some point, but sometime. I don't even know because it's not my jam, and that's really a bad way to look at it. I need to smack myself for that one too. So May 16th, that one's coming soon. I will write a blog post about it, and I will send that out in an email blast to all of my current customers, and I'll post about it on social media too. So, but you won't see me rocking that workout at all. Okay, guys, can you clarify May 12th launch or just details about what it is? Details about what it is, guys. Just to be clear, May 11th is the end of week 1 qual. So you need to start your qualification. No, because your first week of qualification starts on May 4th, that would be week 1, right? So, and May 11th would be week 1. I know. All right. We'll figure it out. We're going to figure it out. Pairing UV2 with Brazil butt lift. Yes, I saw Jamie Messina talking about that, or doing Brazil butt lift. I saw her video the other day too. She had the stability ball. So yes, it's good. It is good. Oh boy. So, all right. So those are a couple of things. Also, as far as this month goes, things that are kind of going through my mind is I am doing that Surge to Summit group, and I think there's like 300 people in there as of right now. But one of the things, just to share with you kind of my mindset, I've had a couple of aha moments over the past week, you know, things that I have done differently as a leader. So I don't know where or who mentioned the book 10X to me, but it was in a conversation somewhere. I don't even know. And I have it on Audible. I've had it on Audible for maybe a year and I've never listened to it. And so I was thinking about, you know, the things that the Surge to Summit, kind of what Carl is talking about. He's kind of doing this like little I'm here to help group. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to take his idea of really pushing people for the next 7 weeks, and I'm going to implement that with our team. And so I've decided to created this Facebook group, made people put in their goals, and the personal development book is 10X by Grant Cardone. And I've been reading or listening to the book every morning, and then I've been going into this group and sharing my takeaways and sort of pairing it to the business and life, and really challenging coaches to set business goals for themselves, even if it's getting, you know, reaching their health and fitness goals, or it is, you know, getting to Emerald, or it's running better challenge groups, or it is getting to Diamond or Star Diamond or a specific level in your business. And I'm trying to shift our mindset where I do feel like we stop pushing the business opportunity. We stop pushing people to really go full charge. It was like we became guarded, and we didn't want our coaches to burn out. And so we stopped pushing people. And when we stopped pushing our teams, what ended up happening is we legit went flat last year. You know, we did not have any sort of significant growth. And I think it's because we are the team that just totally has rocked it for the past 6 years. And we began to have people that started to, you know, just burn out, and we didn't safeguard ourselves against that. But here's the thing. That's when we were at the peak. That is when we were growing the fastest. That's when our income was growing. That's when we were attracting business builders, because we were putting out the vibes that were attracting our tribe, and we stopped doing that. And one of the things he says in that book is we shouldn't apologize for wanting to be successful. Like, there is nothing wrong with wanting to be successful and be the best at a certain thing in your life. And success doesn't necessarily mean you want to be top coach. Like, success has a meaning to each one of us. But so often we make excuses or we apologize for wanting something more. And I really think we got into that habit of apologizing or feeling bad or over explaining, and it made us become complacent. And so I just sort of feel like, okay, it's time to run, it's time to go. And you know what? I can't be worried about who it's going to scare, or who it's going to turn off, or who is going to shut down because of it. Because here's the bottom line. Like, if we want to grow this business, we got to just go. And the people that want to run with us can run. And you know what? The people that shut down, it's okay. We just explain to them, look, if you're not a runner, it's fine. You still have a place in my business, a place in my life. I still want you on my team, but this, you know, but I'll serve you in a different way. And so I've just changed my thinking, and I know that I need to just infiltrate that as the leader into all of us. And I know that whatever vibe we put out there is what our team is going to do. If we embrace recruiting, if we embrace the business opportunity, whatever we do is going to be what everybody duplicates. Some will, some won't. So what? We're going forward without you. And that's the mentality we just have to have, right? And I think that actually, and it's marathon time. And we are going to get ourselves to Summit. We're going to reevaluate. And then that everything we do between now and then is going to set us up for international launch, for the Shift Shop launch, for end of the year, for all of the other goals we want to accomplish. But we have to start now. We can't wait. We can't wait till there's a launch. We can't wait till there's another perfect time. There just isn't. That doesn't exist. So I feel like that's a perfect segue into Ruth. That Ruth Shrauner is actually the #1 coach in the organization. So she jumped all the way up. I think you ended the year last year, right? Like at 13, 14, like I think am I right, wrong? No.
I think last year was 23, I think.
23. Okay. All right. But nevertheless, like, you have a really good story of sort of how your business kind of did this like ebb and flow and how you pushed and what your goals are. And I totally clicked out of all of your stats. So there we go. Hold on one second.
Don't worry about it. Not a big deal to me, trust me.
But wait, I want to read them off. So hang on one second. So let me do a proper introduction for you. All right. So anyways, she started coaching. Ruth started in July of 2014. She is an executive leader on the leadership ladder. She's a 9-star diamond. She's 33 consecutive months in Success Club 10 and averages about 30 Success Club points a month, which that is really important. And I talked about that in our Surge to Summit group this morning about not being average. So go listen to that. And she earned 6 figures in her first full year as a coach. So, and in 2015, she was 20th in the company. In 2016, she ended at number 23, and now she jumped up to that top spot. So you can see that the compound effect is happening in her business. And so I asked her to speak today and talk to you guys a little bit about some tips for just really pushing your business forward. And so she's going to share that with you guys. So I'll be quiet and let you take over.
Well, thank you. I am super honored to be here. This is really such an honor for me. I still consider myself such a new coach. So coming on this call is just kind of surreal. It's definitely a surreal moment for me. Before I kind of get in too much about what I'm going to share, though, I would love if people would chat in where they're currently at in the business and what their goals are. So I know who I'm talking to. So, however you want to look at that, whether it's rank or income, however you want to look at how you define your success, where you're at, and where you want to go by the end of the year. So I can kind of make sure I'm speaking to the correct audience here. So to tell you a little bit about myself before Beachbody, just very quickly, I am from a really small town in Kansas, like 500 people. So very, very small town. I've been traveling with my husband as he's been getting his veterinarian degree and then specializing in vet medicine the past 12 years, and then fell into coaching almost 3 years ago now after getting my master's degree. I was a teacher. I went back and got my master's degree because we were broke as a joke. And then I started doing corporate instructional design or online training, and went from that realm and then fell into Beachbody accidentally. I'm going to kind of talk towards higher level things today instead of, like how I started my business, things like that. I'm really going to talk towards how I grew as a leader in this business and how I'm still growing. I've probably learned more in the last 4 months than I have learned in the last 2 years, but it's all been coupled together because of the last 2.5 years as a coach and the journey I've went through in terms of leadership with my team. And then, to where we're at today. So I'm hoping as I share my story, I see a lot of you, elite goals, premier goals, shooting for star diamond goals. And that's where a lot of my coaches are at as well. So I'm excited to kind of share my story with you and then intertwine some tangible things in there for you to apply to your own businesses. And I'm really going to talk about vision and goal setting today. And so I know we are in May, and I know I'm going to talk about some things, and you might think like, well, I can't do that now, but that's so not true. There's never a wrong time to start applying these things, whether it's the beginning of the year, whether it's the middle of the year, especially in terms of your team's success, because your team really needs what I'm going to speak to today. So when I started coaching in July. And in November, I had this terrifying moment where I had a panic attack at my old office and my old job. But I was 4 months into coaching, and I had a team of coaches. I probably had a team of, 15 coaches, maybe 20, 25 in my downline. Not very many. But again, I'm from a small town. And so on my team, I had now sponsored coaches who were from my small town in Kansas. And I never wanted to be part of multi-level marketing, mainly because from my small town, there was always a stupid shake company trying to recruit everybody. And I don't even know how many times I was tried to I was trying to be recruited for every other shake company out there. And I never wanted any part of that. Always turned my nose up at that. And then in November 2014, right after becoming a coach, not only did I realize I was part of a shake company now, it's a huge part of what we do, but I had sponsored 2 or 3 other women from my town. Now I was leading a shake team. And that terrified me. And it didn't terrify me because I didn't believe in Beachbody or Shakeology or what we do. It terrified me because I knew if I was going to do this, I didn't want to be successful alone. I didn't want to be successful alone. I wanted the coaches on my team to have massive amounts of success. And this was far before I even had success. So in November of 2014, when I realized this is where my team vision really started turning. The wheels really started turning in terms of what type of business, what type of team, what type of legacy did I want to leave behind. And it all kind of goes back to my small town and what people were going to see from me from the next year, 2 years, 3 years. What name did I want to create for myself? The cool thing is in terms of success, we dictate our own success in this company. You decide your success level. And I knew my actions would dictate that success. So in November, the wheels started turning. And I told myself, and I remember I went to my diamond page, my upline, and I posted in there how terrified I was. I was having a mini panic attack over this, realizing now people relied on me to help them grow their business and learn their business. And having that responsibility and acknowledging that responsibility helped me in terms of stepping up to the plate, because I take very seriously what I do as a leader to my team in terms of showing them the steps to success. I can't make them successful. I can't make them do the work, but I can show them what we have available. I can give them the resources. So, in 2014, I really decided I was going to be successful and I was going to take people with me. And I didn't really know anything about Elite at the time. I'd heard of it. I saw the cool stuff, but I didn't really know a lot about it. And so I started looking into Elite at that time and kind of planning. And in 2015, in January, I had, I'm just a goal getter, so I think some of those people, they just want to go for the top. And so before then I was maybe I'll go for top 20 in the company in 2015. Maybe I'll do that. But I kept going back to this. And I think this is very important for everyone to analyze in their own business. I kept saying well, I want balance in life. And I can do it, but I just want balance, and I want to have time with my husband, and I don't want to be stressed out. I can do it, but I just don't think I want to do it. And that was really just a load of crap I was telling myself. And it was my fear. I was terrified to actually go for it. And Jessica Bowser Nelson's my upline. I met her for the first time in February at a Sean T event, February 2015. So I was then 8 months into coaching, 8 months into coaching. We even sat down because January 2014, I showed up on the leaderboard at 24 that month. And I was oh, okay, well, maybe I should look into this. And I kept telling myself that same story. I want balance. I can do it, but I want balance. And had dinner with Jessica, even kind of talked about it. And then I was no, I don't want to make a top 20 or top 10 push because I want balance. On the way home, I actually listened to You Are a Badass driving home from Florida that weekend. And the talk about limiting beliefs, it resonated with me, every piece of it. All these stories I had made up for myself about how I could do it, but I wanted balance. So I really encourage each of you. I think we each have stories. Even to this day, I have stories about what I'm capable of and what I'm not capable of. Getting really real on those stories. What do you actually want, and what are the stories you're actually telling yourself? Because you have to recognize those stories to then overcome them. Is it that you are looking at these top coaches and saying, well, they have more time, or they know social media marketing better, or they have a blog, or they have a really awesome website, or they've been doing it for 6 years. What are those stories that you are telling yourself? Because that's going to dictate so much of what you do, and you have to recognize them and then just say, it's a load of crap. Like, it's really a load of crap. I am so different from Melanie in a lot of ways. I don't have a website or blog that I actively do. And I remember looking at top coaches when I was brand new and saying, I don't have a website, so I can't be successful. I don't have a blog that's good, so I can't be successful like that. I'm not bringing in 50 people a month, so I can't be like, all that's, it's all lies that we're all telling ourselves. Take those people off the pedestal. That was the first thing I had to do when I committed to this goal. So coming back from that drive to Florida, after I had just said I don't want to make a top 20 push or top 10 push, I listened to You Are a Badass, and I was just like, oh man, I'm so full of it. I knew deep down in my heart what I wanted. I was just too scared to say it. So I kept making excuses, but I knew I wanted to be a top coach. And so I listened to You Are a Badass, and it changed everything. In a second, I was like, all right, we're going for this. I realized my limiting beliefs. I realized like what I'm doing, and we're going to go for this. And so in that moment, I also had to decide to take everybody off of a pedestal. I think Jessica's a very strong upline. You guys clearly have a very strong upline. The first thing you have to do is take all of those people off of the pedestal you have them on. Realize that most of them are probably on the Hot Mess Express with you. Lord, I am a hot mess. Like, if you guys could see my daily life and what a disaster I am, you would be like, oh, sweet, I can do this. But you have to just remove them and just think about what they're doing in their daily life and realize it looks a lot like what you're doing in your daily life. Like, there isn't a lot of things. When you think about your fears and how scared you are about your goal, realize that the person up there also has those same fears. They're not sitting over there just on a cloud of fairy dust, singing and dancing. Last week with my team, I made a post telling them how scared I was. I was literally just sitting and tearing up over my fear, over my fear of my goals. That's what success feels like in this business. Success doesn't feel like you're the most awesome person on earth and you're just rolling it all in and happy-go-lucky. Success is scary and it's uncomfortable. And I don't know, maybe that changes for some people, but for me it hasn't. And I'm almost 3 years into this, and I have a great business, but it still scares the crap out of me every day. So the first thing I did after that is I had to take everybody off that pedestal, including my direct upline, who is absolutely amazing. But up until March, I had put Jessica on a pedestal, and I had also piggybacked on her team of everything. I just piggybacked on her leadership. I did absolutely provide my own leadership and encouragement, and I had started a team page for my team at this time, but I was still holding back because I was like, well, Jessica's so good at what she does. I can't ever be that good. I can't ever lead my team like that. And I had to literally stop and say, what is Jessica not doing for the downline for my team that I need to be doing? And this led me to go out and look at other people's trainings. And it's not like Jessica's doing anything bad or wrong, but I knew with my goal, I had to change. So I had to begin looking at how to grow my own team and my own vision and creating my own team culture. Because as humans, we all crave connection. We all crave human connection, and we all want to be part of something bigger. All right. So if you look at, let's say sports teams are a great example of this. The sports teams like NFL, NBA, whatever it is, people gravitate to wear these jerseys and be part of this. Why? They're not even part of it. Some of them aren't even from the same town or city or state, but it's because we want to be part of something bigger. We want to be part of something successful. So some of you might be saying, well, I'm in Melanie's downline, Melanie's downline is super successful. People signed up to join you and your team. And they might think it's super cool that they are in Melanie's downline and that she has this awesome success. But you know what they think? What is going to be way better to them is if you have that success. If you go and create that same type of culture and team and that spirit within your own tribe, that's going to be something that they can really latch onto and gravitate towards. And they're going to rally behind you. I'm going to get way more into that in just a minute, but you need to create that same culture for your own downline team and show up as their leader. So what did this look like for me in 2015 as a new coach? 9 months in, I came back. It was March. It was the very first week in March. And I knew I had that terror of being the only person successful in my organization. And I knew I had to lead my team. And to do this, I did what I call a vision call with them. At this time in my business, I wasn't even doing consistent team calls. Anytime I would do a team call, I would actually freak out and be like, oh my God, what am I going to talk about? Are they all going to know I don't even know what I'm doing? I had no clue what I was doing. I was a diamond coach, barely even in my downline. So I knew I had to go all in and commit to going for top 10 is what I set the goal as 2015, 8 months into coaching. I had to go all in on this and I had to fake it. And Lord, was I faking it like crazy. And I was like seriously peeing my pants. So I came back. The first thing I did is I put a picture of myself in my team page. And I said, we have a team call. I said, I have a super special announcement. I need everyone to be there. I played it up like it was the best thing on earth to get them on this call. And I was dying behind the scenes in fear. I was like, what am I doing? But I got on that call and I asked them, and I think I still tell my team to this day that this is the most important thing I have ever done as a leader. It is still the most important thing I've ever done, and I've recreated it this year. But I got them on the team call, and I had a relationship with my coaches. We have that trust. We had the trust going into this call, which is very important because I'm very honest with them. And I asked each of them to tell me their why in this business, and then also their goal. So 2 different things. Why being, how is this business going to impact, change, influence their life? Their goal being a tangible business goal that's going to bring that why to life. So kind of 2 different things. Digging into the heart of their why, but then also the goal that they think they need to get, whether it's Diamond, Star Diamond, Success Club, to bring that goal, that why to life. 2 sides of it. I had each of them share. I told them I was going to share mine as well. And then I shared my why with them. And my why was kind of the panic attack of being the only successful coach from my small town. And then the goal of being a top 10 team. And truly at that time, I'm a dreamer. When I came in, I was a dreamer. And I had said to so many of my coaches before that, like, you have top coach material, you're elite coach material. I see who you are. You can do this. And I told my coaches, I said, who am I to tell you that, but never show you how to do it? What a hypocrite I am. If I can look at you guys and say, you can be successful, you can be elite, you can be a top coach, but I'm never going to do it for myself. Like, what a hypocrite. So I told them, I'm going to show them how to do it. And that together as a team, I'm going to show them how to do it. We're going to make a top 10 push. I literally wanted to get sick on this call. I told them that. I was shaking. I was sweating. It was embarrassing. I felt like a fraud. It was probably the hardest thing I've ever done, was admitting that to everyone on my team. It was like, so I still get scared thinking about it. But what happened, and this happened again this year, is everyone rallied behind this team vision. And it wasn't because they thought I could do it or they thought we could do it. It's because when you see someone doing something really scary and out of their comfort zone, that's inspiring to them. When you see someone doing that, it makes you think, if she's crazy enough to go for that, heck, I can be Diamond. I can be 2-star. Like, homegirl's over there really crazy. Like, I can just do a little portion of that. And it raised the bar for them. And I speak on vision all the time, because what happens when you do this with your team? I really don't think your team can move forward until you have this heart-to-heart with them. Number one, my team saw it wasn't about me. It was really about them. My team vision was about their success. I don't want to be the only successful coach on my team. That is my definition of a nightmare. Please count me out. I don't want to ever be part of that. So my elite vision and my why of being an elite team and a top 10 team was truly all about them and showing them how to build success and also helping them become successful. Also having this vision call with them, I was now tied to my goal. There was no backing out. It sucked. I was like, dang it. I said it to you guys. Now I have to show up. Now I have to figure it out. So I want you to know when I did this vision call with my team, I had no idea what I was going to do. Like I had no idea in terms of the actions I was going to do to bring this to life. No idea. And you don't have to know. But I was committed to finding out what I needed to do. I was committed to growing every day as a leader. I was committed to doing trainings every day that were going to help my team grow. And that's what I started doing. I started digging into what I needed to change and how I needed to better train my team. And let me tell you, up until that March, I had this mindset. People who are going to work are just going to work. I was a worker, and like anyone who wants to work is just going to work. So like, I'm not going to hold their hand. Anyone ever said that? It's really easy to say. I wish I could still say that and just ride it out. Life would be easy, wouldn't it? I realized though that not everyone is like me. And I realized not everyone's a runner, and that's okay. And this actually took me a year and a half to really grasp. Because I saw some people grow their business slower. Does that mean they're less successful? Does that mean they're never going to have a big business? Absolutely not. I have some amazing coaches on my team who have taken a whole lot more time to grow and ramp up, and they're now just finding their sweet spot and they are going. Most people are not runners. I think a very small majority are runners. And if you're only focused on the people who are going to do it because they're just going to do it, you're going to lose so many people in that. That doesn't mean that I left my run mentality and my dream bigger mentality. It just meant when I was training and when I was speaking, I was also trying to help those people who needed a little bit more direction and a little bit more mentorship. So I started to do different things to help this. So a pivotal moment in my business was going into my first Success Club trip in Cancun in 2014. And to be honest, at the time, I was having probably 10 probably coaches make Success Club every month consistently. I feel like that was just luck of the draw of who I sponsored. I don't even know how I was doing that, because now looking back, I was like, I was doing nothing to support them besides showing up and being really passionate every day. But I went to the Success Club trip, and a coach on my team, they didn't mean it in a bad way, but they told me I couldn't get 20 coaches in Success Club. You should never tell me what I can't do, because it just pissed me off. And I was like, I'm going to show you. So I came back in April from this Success Club trip, and them saying that to me was the best thing that ever happened, because I was like, well, how am I going to do this now? I just looked at them and said, I'll prove you wrong. How am I going to do this? Which led me to trainings. I'm not the girl who spends a lot of time on YouTube doing training. I don't do that. I keep my head in my game, and I look at where I need to improve, seek out that training. I take the training and I apply it. That's probably my biggest strength. I can narrow it down to how many YouTube videos I've watched on this coach business, because I don't go down that rabbit hole unless I'm going to apply it. Melanie, Katie, thank you. You both have given me videos that I've actually applied. The first one I want to talk about, though, and I tell everybody this. I mean, I've told everyone this literally for 2 years. They will ask me, how did you do it, Ruth? Aside from the vision, Melanie, and I don't remember the other woman's name, did a call in 2014 at Summit called Creating Top Performing Coaches. It's in the back office. And I want to tell you guys what happened when I watched this. I watched this video. The first thing I said was, I can't do that. I'm not Melanie Mitro, and that's not going to work for me. This is a load of no, which actually I said that about everything in coaching I've ever done the first time I saw it. That was my very first initial reaction, is I can't do this. Like, this is so scripted and so fake. And the more I watched it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is literally how I started my business though. The conversation, she goes through a conversation in there about how to talk to your first warm market and how to enroll them as a challenger, as a coach. And what she said, I literally said that to my mom and my sister. And so as I was watching this, calling it BS, I also had the same realization that I actually did the exact same thing. And sometimes when we watch something and someone's telling us how they did something, or it might sound a little more scripted, we tend to think like it's fake, but then I'm like, wait, I literally did that. So while I didn't have faith that I could pull it off, I applied that entire top performing coaches video to my organization. Before that time, I wasn't running challenge groups for my downline. I was just simply running my own challenge group. And I was like, well, duh, I ran my own, just go run your own challenge group. Like, it's not that hard. Just put up some pictures every day and run your challenge group. Before that, I wasn't. Now it's crazy to even think I ever did that. So I started doing exactly what the top performing coaches video told you. And I'm not going to go into details there because it's on the back office and she explains it way better than I'll piece it up here. But I just applied that and it was terrifying. And I was like, there's no way this is going to work. And is anyone going to believe me? Oh crap. And that month we had 20 coaches. I had 20 coaches hit Success Club, actually 19. I was really mad about that one not hitting it. 19 coaches hit Success Club, the most I've ever hit because of that application of that training. So I think we all do this where we watch trainings and we're like, I can't do that because, I'm not the top coach, or I'm not that well spoken, or I don't make pretty PowerPoints. You guys, I still have never made a pretty PowerPoint to this day. Nope. Don't know how to do that. I have one PowerPoint I've ever made, literally for that call 2 years ago. I'm still using the same ugly PowerPoint. But we all make excuses when we watch training about why we can't do it or why it's not going to work for us. And that's what you have to stop doing, because that vision you told your team depends on you now going and finding the resources and putting them into action. I'm not going to sit here and tell you all the things to put into action, but I am going to tell you it's all out there. And you guys are on the 3-time top reigning team. I'm pretty sure you got a lot of good resources. Like, you're stacked. Like, you have it. So if you're not moving your business forward, you have to evaluate, are you truly trusting that process? Are you truly using the resources you have? And are you truly taking it and making it your own? Because it's one thing for Melanie to do a training, but it's another thing for you. And again, your team wants you as their leader, whether you realize it or not. So important that you take those things, make them your own, and lead your team with that vision. So I'm going to kind of fast forward from that. We jumped to 13 in the company, which is probably where Melanie was getting that number. And before this year, that was the highest I was ever ranked, was 13 for 4 or 5 months in 2014 as a new coach. We dropped slowly but surely that year. My confidence in myself as a leader dropped. My belief in myself dropped, and my team rank slowly dropped. We ended the year at 20, which is still awesome, but it wasn't the plan. It was failure. I've actually always failed in this business, but it just kept dropping. So one thing that happened for me in October of 2014, I realized what was happening, and I realized my limiting beliefs. I got a life coach that year in October. It was too little, too late, but I realized I had these limiting beliefs about money, making money as well. And I started to make a whole lot of money. And it started to really freak me out because I didn't, again, want to be successful. So now I felt like I was really in an MLM because I was making all this money and my coaches weren't making as much money, and it was really messing with me. And I acknowledged that, and I got a life coach to coach me through that. Anyways, so realizing that you have to face those limiting beliefs, I think sometimes we just think we'll get through it on our own. For me, getting a life coach that year was very important for me to push through my limiting beliefs about success and money. Very important. That's kind of a side note, but I kind of want to go into 2015 very quickly. So 2015, I had a hard push in 2014. I worked my butt off. 2015, my husband was finishing up his residency into summarize that, basically it means that I never saw my husband for the last 8 years and we didn't have a life together. One time a marriage counselor literally said, "Oh, you don't actually know each other, do you?" I was like, "Thanks for pointing that out, sweet." So 2015, I'll be honest, coming off the push of 14, I was tired. I felt defeated. And I was like, I really do want to spend time with my husband. He was getting out of his residency. Can we have time together? My priorities shifted. And I started, and I knew I wasn't going to push hard in 2015. I still pushed. I'm a worker. So me not pushing hard is still like the normal person's pushing hard. Because I push pretty hard all the time. So, but I did back off in terms of the passion I brought to my business and the leadership I brought to my business. That was probably the biggest thing. And because my priority was my marriage, we traveled to 5 different countries in 2015, 13 different cities, traveling all the time. We moved across the country. While I was still showing up every single day, I wasn't leading my team with passion. I'm going to tell you, in 2015, I did not set goals for myself. It's like blows my mind now. Or 2016, I'm sorry. 2016, I didn't set any goals. And I want you guys to know what happened. My business did well because I showed up. I doubled in size, doubled in income. It kept growing. But all my leaders stayed stagnant. They all just stayed right where they were. My leaders didn't see growth. That to me is failing. I feel like I failed my entire team in 2016. And when I look back at what I did differently, because I still showed up, I still did team calls, I still did team trainings, I had team pushes, I still showed up. But I wasn't leading with a shared vision. And that's why I know why important this shared vision is for your team and how your goals impact your entire downline. My leaders and my team did not see me pushing towards really anything. They saw me showing up, but they didn't know what our team was doing. They didn't know why it was important. They didn't know how it was going to impact them. They didn't know how Diamond Success Club, Star Diamond things impacted their business and their success, because I wasn't talking about it anymore. I was literally just showing up, doing trainings, talking about Success Club, but it was not linked to a team vision or to a vision for their own life. None of it. And I had a call last year with Arnold from Beachbody Corporate, and we talked about this, and he talked about how the top leaders in this business, they always have a next goal. It doesn't matter if they have been the number 1 coach, they're going to go for it again. Or if they got 15-star diamond once, they're going to go for it twice or 3 times. And I remember listening to that. It was way late in the year, and like trying to dig into it and trying to like bring out a vision or goal then. Like this was like in October, because I needed something to bring that passion back to life. And I couldn't commit to it. I couldn't get back in it. I couldn't pull myself out of it. And it really left my team. I feel like I cheated my team all of 2016. I really feel horrible about anyone's growth, and I take personal responsibility that they didn't grow in 2016 because I wasn't showing them how to grow, because I didn't care if I grew. So why would they care if they grew, right? 2017 came, and let me just tell you, while last year was a good year, it was, successful in a lot of ways, it wasn't fun. I didn't wake up excited. There wasn't any momentum or passion. It was just stale. It felt like I was working. It felt like I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it just felt like work, and it sucked. So while this year is totally different in that regard, January 7th actually was Super Saturday, which is why I don't care where you are in this business events and Super Saturday, always go to them. You are never too good for those things. I've had 2 huge epiphanies at Super Saturday, and one was on January 7th about where I wanted to take my business. So January 7th, after Super Saturday, set a huge team goal. Like we are going to be a top 10 team, hands down. There's nothing that's going to stop us. And given that I'm 2 years in, I'm more confident now as a leader. I was like, okay, we're going to do this. But let me tell you what, you guys, coming back and telling my team for a second time we're going to be a top 10 team after I've already done it and failed, and now it just feels like I'm just showing up to say it, that was even scarier than doing it the first time, to be honest with you. Like that was really scary to come back again and say, okay, we're going to do a top 10 push again. Like that was terrifying. But I actually didn't. I raised the bar. I was like, we're not doing 10, we're doing top 5. We are doing this. Here's how it's going to work. I raised the bar. The coolest thing that has happened this year from me doing that is to see every single one of my leaders raise the bar with me. Every single one of my leaders said, okay, if you're going to do that, I'm going to do top 20. I'm going to do top 25. I'm going to be top 100. I'm going to be lead and this and that and that. I mean, every one of my leaders is in this goal with me, but also with themselves and their own team to create this duplication. And I didn't realize truly how much team vision impacted your team until this year, because I did it the first year. Oh, wow, that was awesome. I thought I just had some beginner's luck. Last year I did nothing. Nothing happened. This year I did it again, and it's insane to see how much your team is going to follow your lead. How much your team is going to follow your lead. So no matter where your business is at, in terms of creating a new vision every year or every quarter or whatever it is so important. It is so important. That is the one step that cannot be skipped. If your goals, I see on here, a lot of you have elite on your goals, 5-star by the end of the year, 2-star by the end of the year, growing for income. My question is, does your team know that vision? Do they know why it's important to you? And do they know how it impacts them as well when they're successful? Do they know that your goals are directly tied to them? And through it all, everyone is going to grow together. Because until they understand that, until they see that, they aren't going to truly get it. They have to be in that with you. So my question for you is, have you shared that vision with your team? And for me, I told you exactly what it looks like. I plan a team call. I ask everyone to show up. I ask them to share their why and their goal. And then I shared my personal vision for my life and my team vision for the team. And I talked about how helping them hit Success Club or Emerald or Diamond, how we were all going to do this together, and how this was going to help them bring their goal to life, and how together then we as a team rise. And I know when I was really new, I was really scared they were going to think it was all about me. But the truth of the matter is, it was never about me. My biggest fear was it only being me. And that's what pushed me into action. And as long as you can remember that you are coming from a genuine place and share it in that same respect, they're going to feel that. They're going to feel it. But if they just see you talking about being an elite coach and they don't know what it means to them, they're going to be like, well, cool, you want to be an elite coach? Who cares? Like, what about me? So that's why they have to know, who's going to bring with you? Who are you bringing with you to the top? And some of you may not have the team you need to be an elite team at this time. And that's okay. This vision call is going to show you. If half of your coaches are like, I just want to do this for a hobby, or I just want to make $250 a month, that's okay. But you got to get off that call and you got to go find more coaches who want to dream big with you. And it starts really by putting your dreams on social media as well. I'm not even going to go into that too deeply, but I talk about my dreams on social media just as much as I talk about them behind the scenes. That itself inspires people to join me. People want to be part of something bigger, of something greater. They want someone who is fearless. Your fearlessness will be contagious with your team and the people watching you. But it starts with you being fearless and going after those things. And then after that team call, after that team vision, devising a plan, committing to it. Even if you don't know how you're going to help your coaches at Success Club today, even if you don't know how you're going to help your coaches get to Diamond today, doing the steps, watching a training call. I mean, you guys are on Melanie's team. I'm sure there's a specific training that she has that's going to show you these things, but trusting it and applying it and going for it. Those are truly, that's all it takes. And it really is that simple as long as you commit to your team vision and you're willing to back that up with action. Your team is going to 100% follow your lead, and they are going to raise the bar with you. But it truly starts with you creating that vision, sharing it with them, and attacking it with them. And so in my team page, they all know the vision, and it's our banner every month. And we talk about it every month. I update my banner. Here's our team vision. Here's where we're at with our team vision. Like, how are we going to continue doing this? And I talk to them about my fears when I'm scared. I tell them when I feel like I'm failing. I tell them when things aren't going well for me. And I share the good stuff too. But I know when sharing the bad stuff, they're like, oh yeah, good. You are a hot mess. And if you're doing this, I can do it too. Like, cause you're legit crazy. So we're all good. And it just inspires them to keep pushing with me, because they see that it's not always easy. They see it's not always fun. They see that I'm exactly like them and that I'm scared. But I'm going to show up anyways. So that's kind of my spiel on vision. Do you guys have any questions about anything? You
guys have questions? I know they're thinking about it. But I think that was an awesome call. And I bet you every single coach that listened to this absolutely can relate to what you said, for sure. I think that success is scary, and it does require you to take a leap of faith. And we don't all have it figured out. And I can't tell you how many times I nodded my head like, yeah, I remember sharing my vision with my team and being like, I have no idea how I'm going to get there, but I'm just going to figure it out. And I feel like that's been my whole business, is just kind of like jumping and then figuring it out as I go. So I totally relate to that. All right. So now we got some questions. I'll let you answer those.
Okay, cool. How much help do you have? Julia, that's such a good question. I didn't have a real assistant until like last November, which is my biggest like regret. Mm-hmm. Why?
Yep.
So now I do have an assistant, helps set up challenge groups, kind of does like, all that recognition, things like that. She's a jewel. Thank God for her. I think she probably does 7 to 10 hours a week. And we're kind of evolving with that as well. I'm not good at using an assistant. I need to get better at it. I definitely recommend one.
I agree, Ruth. I will second that. And we had this discussion in the Rising Stars last night. I think Taylor started it. It will save your life. And are you a red personality, Ruth? Like, are you and so we think we can do it all, and we should do it all because we physically can, but I can't tell you how much creativity, like it allowed me to put my energy into recruiting and doing only the things I can do, like just do it. Oh, and the other thing that people were worried about too is they felt like they weren't at a level where they could hire. They felt guilty for hiring an assistant because they weren't making enough money, or they were like, I should be able to do this myself. Like, who am I? But just do it.
Actually, yeah. And this has actually been a big sticking point for me this year with my other leaders. I get really frustrated about this actually. So I'm glad someone asked this. Because here's the thing. I was really broke when I came into this business, like $250,000 in student loan debt. So everyone knows when I started this, like, whoa, we were like choking on debt. I have been investing in my business since day one, whether it was giveaways, whether it was paid advertising. So even though like I didn't have a true assistant, like my sister was my assistant sometimes, like back in the day, I had like, let's just say like not good assistants for a while that I wasn't giving much to. But I have always been investing in my business. And this is where I think a lot of people get it wrong. I hate it when they say I'm spending money on my business. No, you're not. You're investing in your business. And whenever I invest in my business, whether it's an ad, whether it's an assistant, whether it's a diamond retreat or incentive, I expect a return on that investment. We are business owners. Who was it last year at Summit, the keynote speaker? He talked about putting all of your income back into your business your first year or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of Beachbody coaches go wrong, because I think a lot of us come into this needing money and we're like, well, I'm broke, I need this money. But I truly believe in investing a portion of your income back into your business every single month. Mm-hmm. And if you're not doing that, I don't think you're going to see as much growth. I have been investing in my business since day one, and it has paid off. Whether that's a babysitter. I know a lot of stay-at-home moms for 2 hours a day having a babysitter or something. It's an investment in your business that should pay you back. Mm-hmm. Goal being 2-star. My goal is 2-star. How do I share that with my team? That the goal is just not about me. So I think first you really have to ask yourself, why is your goal 2-star? Why is your goal premier? Why is your goal elite for any of these goals? What does that look like to you? What does that mean to you as a person? I know, for me, it truly was that I just didn't want to be the only person successful on my team. I wanted to create other six-figure earners with me, and I wasn't even a six-figure earner yet, which was the best part. I was like, we're all going to earn six figures. Woo, let's go. To me, it was truly about helping these men or women earn full-time incomes. It was about allowing moms to stay home. It was about not fighting with my husband anymore about money. That's what success, aka 2-star, 5-star, elite, looked like for me. It wasn't about being a 2-star coach. It was about not fighting with my husband anymore about money. It was about being a stay-at-home mom someday. So while 2-star is the milestone, maybe, let's say, 2-star, 5-star, elite, whatever it might be the milestone you have to reach. Nobody ever grew up saying, I want to be a 2-star Beachbody coach someday. But I know for myself, I always said I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom if I wanted to be someday. I always said I wanted to have a happy marriage, not one where I wanted to fight with my husband all the time. So I would say take those goals and relate it back to tangible things that relate to you in your life, in your coaches' lives as well. What do they want? Have they told you they want to be a stay-at-home mom? They want to go part-time? Do they have debt they want to pay off? We really have to connect those ranks to real-life tangible outcomes. So it's not just about Beachbody ranks. Hillary, I'm from a small town, very small, yep. The fear of being oversaturated. How did you get your team past that? So for me, honestly, I found Jessica on YouTube, and I found Jessica because I was searching Instagram for 21 Day Fix stuff. So I found 2 Beachbody coaches before I ever signed up, not knowing what coaches actually did. In my mind, I was like, well, if I found these people on Instagram and YouTube, then I can also find people on Instagram and YouTube. If I found them like that, then I can find people like that. And so that's what I've thought that from day one. If I found this random person, random people can find me. And so that's how I explain it to my team. And well, the cool thing is we're going international in a 3rd country. So like we are literally sitting on a gold mine for anyone who wants to do it. So this isn't about our warm market and where we're at. This is truly about the entire world and where we are about to go. Social media gives us 0 oversaturation. And the true thing about Beachbody is people are going to be connected to you for you. Literally, like they really could hate me, but they're going to love you. And that's the beauty of it. So when you're being yourself on social media, oversaturation doesn't exist. It really doesn't. How did I find my coach? Honestly, I actually have no idea how I found Jessica. It was no clue because I was not looking for coaching, but I was searching Instagram hashtags for 21 Day Fix results and T25 results, which led me to a woman. Actually, I think this is interesting. Led me to a girl who had my before body. I wanted her after body. I was all over top 10 coaches Beachbody sites and I had no idea. But now I can tell you I was, because now I know the faces and the names. I remember the bikini butts, to be honest. I know that bikini butt. I looked at her when I was looking for a coach. I just wanted the fitness part of it. Found the girl on Instagram, led me to her website, which was all about really fitness. I filled out a form to be in her challenge group. She friended me on Facebook. She asked if I was interested in coaching. Well, actually, I think I said to her, like, I filled out your form. Did you get it? And she said, oh, are you interested in coaching? And I said, no, I am not. I don't want to be a coach. I just want to be in your challenge group. She took 7 days to respond to that, probably because I know sometimes it can be like, oh, she just wants to be in a challenge group. I want coaches. She took 7 days to respond to that message. In between that time, I kept searching T25 and 21 Day Fix. And I found Jessica's video on YouTube. I don't know how. The difference between Jessica and the coach I initially contacted was marketing. Jessica leads with the business. And I was like, oh, wait, I can earn money. She was talking about money. And I know there's a lot of talk about not talking about money. There's this whole debate over it. That's the reason I'm here, is because I heard her talk about her paychecks. And I was like, okay, I'm in. I'll do this. So that's kind of how I found my coach. So one was leading with fitness, one was leading with the business. But I always talk about the results. I talk about this to my team all the time. The results pulled me into both fitness results and business results, which is why I can't get away from talking about my business results, because I'm here because someone posted their business results. And I don't think anyone signs up to do something without seeing some type of result, whether it's physical, mental, emotional. Okay, great question. I'm from a small town, and you have other coaches who are also from your small town. Do you feel like you're stepping on their toes? How do you have them recruit like pages? So since I've been in this longer, I try and work my cold market more, since I know that is I've been doing it longer, so I'm just more comfortable. And so in terms of, being from a small town, I do try and work my cold market more if I know, we all have these similar connections. And I kind of talk to them about that, like, hey, are you reaching out to these people? Because at the same time, if they're not reaching out to anybody, I don't want someone from my hometown being left in the dust, because I'm expecting my coaches to reach out to them. The good thing is also, though, if I'm sharing on my social media page, these people might come to me, or they might come to them as well, because it is the customer decides who they want to work with. But I would say, like, I don't necessarily I try and still work my cold market and evolve in that way, in case my coaches do start penetrating the warm market. But I don't not work my warm market at the same time. It's really hard to answer that. I'm actively seeking people out. Most are from my cold market at this point. But I'm still going to follow up with anyone from my warm market I've ever talked to. If I feel like there's a warm market coach who isn't on my team yet, and I have a coach who has been on my team for a year, they haven't penetrated that warm market, I'm going to go after it. Because I also have like 1 million of my sorority college girls on my team too. I mean, like, our warm markets are all intertwined. But the cool thing is, people are going to ignore me that don't like me, and they still literally might join those people. So it works out, I feel, how it's supposed to. Doing daily trainings with my team. What did you start doing daily live trainings on your team page? So when I started let me talk a little bit about that. My daily trainings, if I did a daily training, it might've been like a 7-day push or something, or a 14-day coach basics. I've actually since changed all of that and don't do, push groups nearly as much in terms of just coach basics. I have a revolving coach basics. So it's very self-paced. It doesn't take away my time. People can join whenever they want. So my training for that is just revolving open door. And then I recognize people who are completing 10 and 20, because we have 20 lessons in our coach basics. And I recognize people based upon that. In terms of daily trainings with my team and what did I start doing? Aside from doing, I call it the new coach mentorship call, which is the call that Melanie, or the summit training Melanie did. That's something I still do, but I did that monthly. So that was a monthly live training call that would set them up for the month. That was kind of the monthly training, and then being present in my team daily. I don't have like a daily training that I do with my team. I am present in my team daily. I show up, I speak whatever's on my heart, but I don't necessarily have like a daily training or a live training tip that I do for them in a consistent manner, if that makes sense.
Hey, Ruth, it's Jacqueline. I just want to say thank you for answering my question.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
I'm doing my video because I am really sick. I look like crap. But since you just answered the question, I just want to ask you really quickly, because I'm really struggling with the coach basics. Like, I try to do the self-paced thing. I did it on a website. It didn't really work well. I felt like people didn't do it. So when you said you did a revolving coach basics, do you just have like a closed Facebook group? The posts are there. They just come in and do it at their own pace. And do you feel like, I guess my thing was, when they do the assignments, are they supposed to check back with you, or how do you keep them engaged in doing it if it's self-paced?
Yes, I'll tell you. So I started my self-paced training. It's called Juvo Coach Basics. It's a separate Facebook page, 20 lessons in a pinned post in that separate Facebook page. That's all that happens in there. I have not changed it except for minor updates with like policies and Success Club since 2015, almost 2 years. Okay. And my first year of coaching, I can tell you, I went through changing and rechanging coach training that first year, trying to do everything, every type of training, until I settled on this. And I said, I'm never touching it again because I'm so tired of wasting my time with new coach training. So I started this revolving thing. They go through the lessons. There is an assignment on each lesson. So each lesson is a post, as you probably have seen. But here is the kicker. Last year, I did not recognize people for doing the training. And they track it in a Google Doc. So when they finish, they put an X on the Google Doc. So there is a tracking system as well, and that's how I know how many lessons I've done. I didn't recognize anybody for doing the training consistently. So in January, I changed that. And so every Tuesday, we do training shout outs on my page. So if they completed 10 lessons, they get their face halfway done on the training shout out. The entire downline, my assistant does that for me. I literally never do anything for Coach Basics. It's just over there floating, unless I want to see where someone's at. But the biggest thing is recognizing on a consistent basis. And now that I'm doing that, I had 13 people. It's so sad. Finish that training last year. 13. It's actually super embarrassing to even say that. And we've had probably 20 at least complete it this year. And it's literally because they get their face on an image that goes in the team page.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Really about recognition.
Thank you so much.
How do I combat small town mentality? I think it's just speaking about it and talking about the different ways to reach people on social media and just showing them, you know, like I could have small town mentality if I wanted to, but it's just talking about social media and our reach. It's a non-factor. It's just literally a non-factor anymore because of social media. Our reach is so huge. And your team will follow your dream big mentality, Jessica. So like really evaluate yourself, and are you dreaming big? Are you sharing that with them? And are you doing it fearlessly? Because they will feel it and they'll follow you. And sometimes it's not fearless, or sometimes there's a lot of fear, and that's okay. If they see that, they're going to be like, okay, it's okay to be scared and have big dreams. But just continue sharing that. Someone asked earlier too, like sharing your 2-star goal, and are people going to respond? People might not respond, but you keep showing up anyways. Detach yourself from the outcome. Is your team cheering on with you? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Keep going, and soon enough, they're going to join you. They can't ignore you forever. And as long as you keep sponsoring people and sharing that dream with them, you're going to start finding people who want to join you. And if you're talking about that dream on social media and sharing your goals, people are going to be attracted to that. Other dreamers, other runners are going to see that and want to join you. How I invite to the business opportunity into challenge groups. I do lead a lot with the business right now because it's really what's impacted my life. I do coach sneak peeks on Facebook, and it's changed too because I used to do like the live webinar. Now we do team sneak peeks on Facebook events actually. So we'll have an event, and we'll do 8-minute segments where me and 4 other leaders will share a different part of coaching. So a tiny bit of their story, and then they'll share what we do as coaches, what are challenge groups, how we support you in our team page. So that's how we do it currently, and it's kind of evolving. I'm kind of evaluating it, seeing how it's working. But in terms of if we don't have a sneak peek, I still have the recorded webinar, and I'm actively sending that to people. And literally my coach invite is so simple. I'd rather invite to coaching all day because it's way easier. I approach people who I think would be a good part of my team, and it's very like 4 sentences. Hey, so-and-so, here's why I think you'd be an awesome teammate, or here's why I think you'd be successful, or here's why I think this would benefit you. And here's what I always ask people. I say, like, I'm doing this coaching thing. You might have noticed, but I say to them, have you ever considered coaching? So it's 4 sentences just based around them, why they'd be good, why I love it. Have you ever considered it? Because if they tell me no, they didn't tell me no that they're not interested. They just said no, they haven't considered it. And I'm like, okay, cool. You want to consider it now? You want to watch a video about coaching? And I still send it to them as long as they say they want to see the video. But like, I always say, have you ever considered coaching? Because people will literally tell me like, no, and that's okay, because I'm like, oh, well, you definitely should, because here's why you'd be good at it. And I can reiterate again why they'd be good at it. And then I ask if they're interested in checking out my team's webinar. So that's how I always phrase that, because they are so happy to tell me, nope, they've never considered it. But that doesn't mean that they're not interested. So I just keep going with the conversation. And I kind of go back and forth in terms of building relationships, just inviting. I get to know people a lot by their own social media, commenting on their social media, and that type of thing first, as opposed to like sending them a direct message. But I go back and forth as well. I still, 3 years later, still figuring that one out. I can't tell you the best method there. I have a team webinar that I send them. It's like 20 minutes long that goes over, it's actually very old at this point, but it goes over all the basics of coaching. My Coach Basics is a mashup of what's in the back office. I think I've used a lot of that, and then I just included assignments on it. So every day there's a daily assignment application, because I'm huge, if you're not applying it, why are you doing it? So whatever the lessons on from Coach Basics in the back office, they have an application assignment as well, whether it's post on social media or invite 3 people or whatever it is, to immediately go apply it and then show me how they applied it. Okay. There we go. All right. I think I've talked too long.
That's okay. Great questions. Great questions. I actually made, while you guys were answering questions, I just made a little Canva image and I threw it up in our Rising Stars page that just gave you guys some very clear calls to action just coming out of what Ruth said. And so just to kind of go through it, like, everybody has an assignment to share in your team page, either live or record a video, your vision and why in the next 3 days. The other one I put in there was go live on your Facebook page. Jessica Bryan, props to her. She did this yesterday. She went live. She shared her team name. She shared her vision. She put it right on her Facebook page. And I think that was the best thing she could have possibly done, because it got that vision out there and shared it with other people. And I was like, I don't care if your whole team is made up of discount coaches, like, share the vision, because that's how people follow. Also, talk about fitness and business results on your Facebook page, in your team page, share that stuff publicly. So I just gave you guys some action items to do, and I'll be accountable with you. I will do them. I will share what I've done. If we can just kind of in that thread, share that, and that will let's just build each other up and create that momentum going forward. So anyways, Ruth, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you sharing and being a part of our Rising Stars call. It was awesome. It was amazing. And we appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
All right, guys. Have an awesome Wednesday, and I will see you guys back here next week.